Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that often mistakes softness for kindness. We tiptoe around others' feelings, avoid confrontation, and prioritize being liked over being truthful. But let me ask you this. Is sparing someone's feelings at the expense of their growth truly an act of kindness? Or is it a disservice to them and to ourselves? Let me see Jamie. Being soft to everyone doesn't make us more compassionate, it makes us avoidant. It creates an illusion of harmony while sweeping real issues under the rug. And here's the truth. When we prioritize avoiding discomfort over addressing challenges, we pay a heavy price. Relationships falter, trust erodes, and opportunities for growth slip through our fingers. True kindness isn't about coddling, it's about care. Care enough to hold people accountable, to set boundaries, and to have the courage to say, this isn't working. Being firm isn't being cruel, it's being real. When we avoid difficult conversations, we rob others of the chance to grow and ourselves of the chance to lead authentically. Think about it. The greatest relationships, teams, and communities are built not on avoidance, but on honesty, mutual respect, and resilience. Energy is energy. And from this consistent and loving way of the universe arises strong friendships and stronger relationships. We owe it to ourselves and to those we care about to stop being soft and start being strong. Strong enough to address what's wrong, strong enough to risk being misunderstood, and strong enough to stand firm when it matters most. Because in the end, it's not the easy conversations that shape us. It's the hard ones. It's not the moments of softness that build resilience. It's the challenges we face with courage and conviction. So today, I challenge you to redefine kindness, to embrace firmness as an act of care, to stop being soft to everyone and start being real, intentional, and strong. Not just for others, but for yourself. Kindness and weakness are often confused, but they are fundamentally different. Kindness is a strength. It is intentional and purposeful. It requires empathy, awareness, and the courage to act in ways that benefit others, even when it's uncomfortable. True kindness can challenge people, hold them accountable, and encourage them to grow. It's about doing what is right, not what is easy or convenient. Weakness, on the other hand, stems from fear of rejection, confrontation, or being disliked. It often manifests as avoiding tough conversations, constantly yielding to others, or failing to address problems head-on. When we choose softness over strength under the guise of being kind, we aren't serving others, we're avoiding our responsibility to them and ourselves. For example, imagine a leader who notices an employee consistently underperforming. A weak response might be to avoid addressing the issue, to spare the employee's feelings, or to avoid an uncomfortable discussion. But what does that accomplish? The problem persists, and the employee misses the opportunity to receive feedback that could help them improve. A kind leader, however, would approach the situation with honesty and care, providing constructive feedback and offering support for improvement. Being kind doesn't mean being passive or overly accommodating. It's about being firm yet compassionate, understanding that sometimes the most caring action is the one that challenges someone to be better. Avoidance often feels like the easier path in the moment. We convince ourselves that sidestepping uncomfortable conversations, decisions, or actions will maintain peace or preserve relationships. But this approach comes with hidden and often significant costs that compound over time. When we avoid addressing issues, they don't disappear, they linger. Problems that go unspoken grow in complexity, becoming harder to resolve as time passes. Small misunderstandings can escalate into significant conflicts, and minor oversights can lead to systemic failures. What could have been managed early on with a difficult but straightforward conversation transforms into a much larger issue. Avoidance also undermines trust. When people sense that concerns are being ignored or that critical issues are being left unaddressed, confidence in leadership, relationships, or teamwork diminishes. People begin to question whether their feelings or contributions matter. This erosion of trust is not always immediate, but over time it creates a culture of resentment, disconnection, and disengagement. Furthermore, avoiding discomfort often leads to a compromise of personal integrity. When we choose to sidestep challenges instead of facing them, we betray our values and principles. It creates an internal conflict that weighs on our sense of self-worth and authenticity. We might tell ourselves we're keeping the peace, but deep down, we know we're avoiding what truly needs to be done. The cost of avoidance isn't just relational or organizational, it's personal. It prevents growth, both in ourselves and in those around us. Growth requires feedback, even when it's hard to hear. It requires facing challenges, not running from them. When we avoid, we deny others the opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve. We also deny ourselves the chance to develop resilience, leadership skills, and deeper connections. Avoidance may feel like a temporary reprieve, but it's rarely a solution. Instead, it delays progress, magnifies problems, and damages trust, creating a ripple effect that impacts every aspect of our lives and relationships. Accountability is often seen as a rigid or punitive concept, but in its most constructive form, it is one of the greatest tools for growth and trust building. Constructive accountability is not about pointing fingers or assigning blame. It's about creating a culture where responsibility is embraced and learning is prioritized. It focuses on solutions, improvement, and mutual respect rather than punishment or fear. At its core, constructive accountability begins with clarity. When expectations, roles, and goals are well defined, it becomes easier to identify what success looks like and where adjustments are needed. Without this clarity, it's impossible to fairly assess performance or behavior. Accountability thrives in an environment where everyone understands their responsibilities and the shared goals they are working toward. Holding someone accountable means having honest conversations when expectations are not met. It requires addressing issues directly and providing specific, actionable feedback. These discussions are not about criticism for its own sake, but about identifying gaps and offering the support necessary to close them. It's an opportunity to reflect, adjust, and move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Constructive accountability also fosters trust. When people know they will be held to a standard, and that those standards are applied consistently, they feel a sense of fairness. Trust develops when individuals see that everyone, including leaders, is willing to take responsibility for their actions and decisions. This culture of fairness and shared accountability strengthens relationships and builds a foundation for collaboration and mutual respect. It's also essential to recognize that accountability is a two-way process. Leaders, teams, and individuals must all be willing to own their contributions to success or failure. A leader who holds others accountable but refuses to accept responsibility for their own mistakes undermines their credibility. By modeling accountability, leaders inspire others to do the same, creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to take ownership of their actions. Importantly, constructive accountability isn't limited to addressing failures. It also involves recognizing and celebrating achievements. Highlighting successes reinforces positive behaviors and motivates people to continue striving for excellence. By balancing feedback with recognition, accountability becomes not just a tool for correction, but also a means of encouragement and growth. When approached constructively, accountability helps people see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities. It creates a space where mistakes are not feared, but embraced as part of the learning process. It ensures that everyone is aligned, engaged, and working towards shared goals, strengthening the foundation for collective and individual success. Tough love is often misunderstood as being harsh or unsympathetic, but in reality, it is one of the most profound expressions of care. It means prioritizing someone's long-term growth and well-being over their immediate comfort. Tough love requires courage, as it often involves making difficult choices, setting boundaries, or delivering feedback that may not be easy to hear. Yet it is through these actions that true care is demonstrated. When we genuinely care for someone, we want the best for them, not just in the moment, but for their future. This means having the willingness to challenge them when they are falling short or straying from their potential. It means resisting the temptation to always say yes, or to shield them from the consequences of their actions. Instead, tough love helps people learn, adapt, and grow, even if it's uncomfortable in the process. Tough love also builds resilience. By allowing others to face challenges or experience the natural consequences of their decisions, we give them the opportunity to develop strength and independence. Shielding people from difficulties may seem kind in the moment, but it often denies them the chance to grow. Tough love, on the other hand, acknowledges that struggle is a part of growth and equips individuals with the tools to navigate life's complexities. Setting boundaries is another essential aspect of tough love. It communicates respect, both for oneself and for the other person. Boundaries are not about control. They are about creating a framework within which healthy relationships can thrive. They ensure that interactions are balanced and that mutual respect is maintained. Tough love means being firm when those boundaries are crossed, not out of anger or frustration, but out of a deep commitment to preserving the relationship and encouraging healthier patterns. Tough love is also about honesty. It involves speaking the truth, even when it's difficult, because withholding feedback or sugarcoating the truth ultimately does more harm than good. Honest communication, delivered with empathy and respect, helps people confront reality and take meaningful steps toward improvement. It shows that we value them enough to invest in their growth rather than simply telling them what they want to hear. Tough love creates deeper, more authentic connections. When people know that you are willing to challenge them and hold them accountable, they recognize that your care is genuine. It's not about superficial approval or avoiding conflict, it's about building a foundation of trust and mutual respect. Tough love strengthens bonds by showing that you are invested in their success and are willing to take the harder path for their benefit. Courage to be uncomfortable is a critical skill that often defines the strength of our character and the depth of our relationships. Discomfort is an inevitable part of life, yet many people avoid it, seeking the path of least resistance. However, growth, progress, and authenticity often requires stepping into discomfort and facing the challenges that come with it. Being uncomfortable means confronting situations that test our emotional, mental, or even physical limits. It could be having a difficult conversation, admitting a mistake, taking on a task outside our expertise, or standing up for what we believe in when it's unpopular. These moments feel challenging because they push us out of our comfort zones, forcing us to navigate uncertainty, vulnerability, or fear. Choosing discomfort takes courage because it goes against our natural instincts. Our brains are wired to seek safety and avoid pain. Yet staying within the confines of comfort often leads to stagnation. It keeps us from addressing problems, pursuing opportunities, or building deeper connections. Growth is rarely found in the comfortable. It thrives in the space where we stretch ourselves to face what feels hard or unfamiliar. The courage to be uncomfortable often means prioritizing honesty over harmony. It means addressing conflicts directly instead of avoiding them or pretending they don't exist. While it might feel easier to sidestep tough conversations, doing so can create distance and erode trust. Facing discomfort head-on, even if it means risking temporary tension, fosters understanding, clarity, and ultimately stronger bonds. Embracing discomfort often leads to breakthroughs. It requires taking risks, stepping into leadership roles, or tackling projects that feel daunting. While the fear of failure or judgment may loom large, the rewards of persistence and learning far outweigh the initial unease. Courage in these moments is what separates those who settle from those who innovate and lead.